U.S. college on a gymnastics scholarship. Her performances at recent national and international competitions have given her close to 38 Olympic points.
This selection process is a new thing for us, I think for all of Canada, so I've never been through anything like it, and it is proving extra stress and pressure. These nationals are so important, primarily because it's still selection with the whole point system, and nationals is one of the competitions that is worth the most. It's really essential that we do well here, and also because any chance you get to compete your routines in front of an audience is important, and it's excellent practice for Beijing because training versus competition, I mean, they're really different. So getting the opportunity to perform your routines in front of an audience and judges it's excellent practice.
Elise is in front heading into the first of 3 competitions in Calgary, but has the smallest of leads. Just 2 points separate her from Montreal's Nancy Damianova. The 17-year-old has been one of this country's top female gymnasts for the past couple of years.
I try to have fun when I'm competing, especially on floor, because it's my favorite event in competition, and I enjoy performing in front of a public. So I try to have fun in all this process, not just focus on the points and the Olympics, but also to enjoy, because we don't know what will happen.
Much further behind, but still with a shot of catching Elise and Nancy, is the youngest of the 3, 15-year-old Christina Vaculin. The Whitby, Ontario gymnast trails second place Nancy by 15 points. So this competition will be pivotal for Christina as she tries to close the gap.
The selection process has been really hard because it's made us compete as many competitions as we can possibly fit in during the year in order to gain as much points as possible. So I haven't had much time to recover after competitions, and I've been injured throughout the year, so that's prevented me competing some events during competitions. They're only adding the points on 2 events, the ones that you've scored highest on. One score could make a huge difference. It all depends on the scoring, the judges, your performance, and the pressure.
The women will have 3 opportunities in all to pick up points during this week-long event in Calgary, starting with today's qualification round. One of Christina's best events is floor, and a score of 14.5 would give her close to 3 Olympic points. And she nails that routine. The judges would give her a score of 14.550, more than enough to give her the points that she and her coach, 1980 Olympic champion Elena Davidova, were looking for.
Just a little bit, you know, that thing takes a little bit of time. That's why I said, okay? We'll figure it out.
While Christina and Nancy have made gains today, Elise hasn't. Like the other gymnasts, Elise and her longtime coach Carol Angela Orchard have found it a challenge to adapt to the Olympic point selection process.
It was originally based on 2 events, your best 2 events. Canada's looking for a specialist in Beijing. We want an athlete that can possibly make a final and have a really good shot at winning a medal. We don't have athletes that are strong enough all around to do that, so we wanted to specialize. And obviously, Elise's best 2 events are bars and beam. But as we went through the season and we were specializing her on bars and beam as requested, the vault points were much easier to get. And we never really considered Elise a strong vaulter. But I couldn't take that chance any longer. It was just getting too far in the season. Every competition was like an Olympic trials, and I could see the vault points growing, and bar and beam is a bit challenging to get.
Elise's last chance to pick up points today is on uneven bars. Elise needs a score of 15.1 or more. The mistake on the dismount costs her. Judges give her 15.0, 1/10 of a point off what she needs. At the end of the day, she's leading, but Nancy moves to just a point behind, and Christina closes the gap to 13 points.
I had a really bad crash in training, and I tore the meniscus in my knee, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to even be able to compete there, but I wanted to go there and earn an Olympic spot for the country.
Back at Calgary's Olympic Oval, site of the Canadian Gymnastics Championships, the stress meter is off the charts for the artistic gymnasts vying for spots on Canada's Olympic team. While they're wound up as tight as a top, the trampolinists are feeling anything but. Karen Coburn looks as relaxed as any athlete can while competing at a national championship. That's because the two-time Olympic medalist knows even before she steps onto the trampoline, she's going to Beijing. World-class results have ensured her a trip to this summer's Olympics, no matter what happens here in Calgary.
Well, obviously we put more importance on the international competitions because there, we're trying to get exposure, show the judges what we're doing, and, building on that towards the Olympics. But then, it's nice to come home to nationals as well. You're competing in front of all these kids that look up to you in the lower levels. I remember going to nationals, when I was 13 and looking up to the seniors, and, nationals is always great, and it's nice being with artistic gymnastics as well, and, kind of getting a bit of a team thing going.
But getting a shot at a third Olympic medal wasn't as easy as it sounds. Just 2 weeks before the Worlds, the Torontonians' hopes of winning another Olympic medal were almost dashed.
I had a really bad crash in training, and I tore the meniscus in my knee, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to even be able to compete there, but I wanted to go there and earn an Olympic spot for the country.
Some athletes may have opted to stay home. But Karen knew for Canada to be able to send the maximum number of 2 women to the Games, she'd have to compete. So with the help of painkillers, she gritted her teeth and finished 8th. That result, coupled with training partner and friend Rosie McLennan's 3rd place finish, that gave Canada the coveted 2 Olympics.
It's taken a while, but now finally I feel back 100%. I just won a World Cup last week, which I was really excited about, and I'm feeling really confident going into Beijing now.
Meanwhile, King City, Ontario's Rosie McLennan turned heads with her 3rd place finish at last year's World Championships. Like Karen, strong results internationally means simply competing in Calgary this week ensures her a trip to Beijing. For the 19-year-old, it will be her first Olympic Games.
I guess, well, anything's possible, but I'm hoping that, or my goal is to make the final and then be able to just give it my all in finals and I guess see what happens. Having 2 Olympic medals for Canada would be an amazing feat, and it'd be great. You have to kind of wait and see. A lot of the competitors are upping their routines or the difficulty and competing very well, so it would be very difficult. When I started trampoline, I was about 8 years old, and Karen was already fairly successful in the senior level, so I always looked up to her. She'd always come and help the younger athletes, and now training together and traveling together, she pushes me, and we always kind of are edging at each other, trying to get each other to try harder things or to do things a little bit better.
Regardless of results in Calgary this week, Jason Burnett also knows he's going to Beijing. The Etobicoke, Ontario athlete finished 11th at the World Championships. He'll be the lone man competing for Canada in August. Jason has one of the most difficult routines in the world. This event will give him a chance to test it in competition one more time.
This is great practice. We get a crowd out, we get to jump. We're jumping on the trampolines that will be used at the Olympic Games. We usually compete on Ross beds, or string beds, which are made by our coach Dave Ross. And at the Olympics we'll be competing on Euro beds, which are the trampolines manufactured in Europe. So it's a slightly different bounce, and it takes a little more energy and power to really work the Euro tramps. I think I can definitely final, which is top 8.